y'all, APG Jamie here, and today we're going to play with some clay, and then we're gonna play with patina. So what I have right here are some leftover blocks. The measurements and all that is in the description box below the video. Please click on the word show more to see more information about the products and items and junk and various other important information. So here I am. I've already put on one coat of white gesso, and we're adding a second coat, and I have these smaller blocks because this video was inspired by Belgrove, and we'll link to her channel in the upper right hand corner, and there is a direct link to the video in question, inspiration video, in the description box because I can't link to direct videos. Anyways, so going along, and I'm kind of have the idea that I'm going to do what B did. All right, and y'all know I don't like to do what other people have done, sort of, well, my take on it. So anyway, I'm going along, and I have this clay I picked up at Tuesday morning quite some time ago, and I saw it in there with all my molds and junk, and I thought, well, let's just use that. I've not seen it before. I've not used it. I did not watch any videos on it, and it's okay. It's not my favorite, but it's okay. It's kind of sticky. As you can see, it sticks to your hands. It is an air dry clay, and it does dry over time. It's just slow, but it's humid here, so I guess I shouldn't expect things to dry as quickly here as they do for more normal areas. So I'm going to use the Prima mold. I love the wings on this Prima mold, y'all. And I'm blowing off the excess cornstarch over there to the side. I like to dust my molds with that first. Even my silicone molds. Well, this is a type of silicone, so there we go. I've got some of my own made molds from silicone, and so I'm painting off a small amount of the clay. The instructions did say to work it, you know, smoosh it around and junk, so I was doing that. It's kind of sticky. And pinched off a marble-sized ball that I thought would fill the cavity, and it was too much, so I'm going to scrape some off with the room key used gift card, whatever kind of plastic card thing you have. Right. And these first sets of items that I'm molding do not end up being the final project. Okay? I know you saw the thumbnail. You'll be aware of it at one point or another. This is a longer video. I don't know how long it is, y'all. It's long. And it got longer all the time. Okay? Okay. So, now I've got one of my silicone molds, and we're making faces. I don't know what the face is because, you know, that's the thing about these kind of molds. You just can't really tell so much. And so same thing, making a marble-sized ball that I think is appropriate for the cavity and just pushing it in there. And this is kind of a thick, heavyish clay. Heavier than polymer clay, and nowhere near as light as paper clay. So we're just getting out these molds because I got to cut clay out, and we're just playing. Okay, y'all also know that I sometimes do molding when I want to do something out in the studio. I don't necessarily know what I want to do, so I mold some stuff with paper clay or other whatever kind of clay. That clickety-clacketing sound that you may or may not hear in the background is Champ or Molly going in and out of the studio, because I'm out here in the studio doing a voiceover instead in the house. So anyway, when I want something to do, I don't really know what I want to do. I've already straightened up, and now I just want something to do, so I just play with the clay because it's something to do. It might be your drinking word of the day, of the video, of the show. And these are push molds. They are designed so that you can just push your clay medium in there and then pull them back out. I do advise that you let them set for a while and cool back off if they're over hot or if they're really warm, because it's harder to get out when they are warm. So here's some faces we're pulling out, and I'm looking at them and I'm like, I want to put them on the block like Val did. So we're just playing around. I'm like, yeah, I don't know which one I like. Yes, I could have cut out some more of the video, but why bother? So what she did was she smeared some of her clay. Now, she had a different clay, and it dried much better than mine, from the looks of it anyway. And she smooshed it onto her block, and this way she was able to adhere her wet clay, because it's wet, it's not dry at all, on, you know, her face onto the block, and it worked really well. Mine works okay. We end up using it, sort of. I won't give away that part just yet. And there will be several mini photos later, you know. And there's some in the middle, too. So I'm just using some various plastic clay working tools. They are sold as clay tools. They're not that great. So it's a good thing I'm not a serious clay potter person, just saying. And seldom when you make use a push molder, you know, that kind of thing, does the actual whatever you're molding come out just like it's supposed to. So there's some little tweaking and talking and, you know, all that kind of stuff going on, and I'm covering my block in some more clay and trying to follow Belle's instructions, and yeah. I'm trying to do Belle's thing, not my thing. I'm trying to do Belle's thing. But without doing this first, I wouldn't have got to my end result. So there is a lot to be said for doing what other people do, because when you copy and follow other people along, you end up finding your own groove, and that's what I'm sticking to. I end up finding my groove. Now, for one thing, I think my clay, because it's as heavy as it is, because it's kind of it's almost like a potter's clay, like you would make pots with. Not quite, but almost. And, you know, the kind you throw on a wheel and all that stuff and turn into, you know, coffee mugs and soup bowls, that kind of stuff. Anyway, it's not quite like that. I do not think you can use this stuff for food. I don't know. I don't remember reading that on the package. I'm sure it's on the package somewhere. So as heavy as it is, I should have made it thinner by working with it. And I end up with cracking once it dries. There, I gave it away. And I want these wings, because these are just beautiful wings. All right, I've never pulled a bad wing off of this mold. I've not used the lock yet. I don't know, I've just not had a need for the lock, but I love the wings. There are two different kinds, and there are two different sizes, and there is a left and a right. And I love that about this mold. You know, a lot of times in our crafting, arting world, they just give us one side. We get a stamp that just stamps one side. There's, you know, and it's like, well, what do I want if I want the other side? How do I get the other side? Well, you have to stamp it on another piece of rubber and hope your ink stays long enough so that you can stamp it on the other side, in reverse, so to speak. So, there we go. Complaining. So I've got my wings on there, and now I'm just going to turn them out to where I sort of think I want them, because I am trying to break away from what Belle did and added wings. She added a crown. I thought I'd add wings. Now you can see here how nice and quacked up it dried. And this did take 2 or 3 days to dry. Hang on while I clear my throat. Excuse me. So, but then it is humid in my area. So I thought, okay, well, that didn't work so well. I'm not happy with that. And, you know, I've got days to think about it, because it took a few days. So I've got one of these other faces that we molded. and I'm trimming it up with the craft knife. Be extremely careful should you trim things up with craft knife, okay? I'm a professional. Still, be careful. I'm showing you that you can trim stuff up. And I want this on the corner of the block. I just want it on the corner, okay? At the time, I didn't know why. And, yeah, because that's where it needed to be. That's where it wanted to be. So I am cutting a notch of sorts out of the back so I can place it in the corner. And I think I'm finished with that other piece because I'm like, well, I'm not happy with it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's just not, I don't know, it's just not. So we're going to go on and try something else. And I kept filming because I thought, well, you know, maybe I'll get something out of it. And I did, as you'll eventually see, because we'll get there any week now. We'll get there, most likely, probably. And it's not excessively hard to cut with the sharp craft knife, but it's not that easy either because I'm trying to cut a divot in the back of this thing to sit on a corner, y'all. So I've got kind of an angly, pointy thing, and then I've got kind of a shelf, and we're saying this stuff is sandable. As usual, it is always best, y'all, to wear a mask so you're not breathing in the dust, regardless of what kind of dust you're breathing. Whether, you know, even when you're just sanding wood, you're better off wearing a little mask. You know, just those little masks you get from the paint store, Harbor Freight, someplace like that. So I used my 2 wings, and I'm like, well, I need more wings. So we're going to make some more wings. That's the best thing about having a mold like this. If you want some wings, you can make some wings. Okay. So trying to get them about the same size, and I was mostly successful. And, you know, I was able to fudge the otherwise, which you do as you're working on arting along. So here's the little teeny tiny square, and these are some of those faces we'd previously molded. And I thought, well, I'm going to glue them on this little tiny square that's actually about the size of a die. You know, a dice, like when you roll 2 dice, one of 2 dice is a die, and yeah, okay. Vocabulary lesson over. So I'm gluing them on, and I'm using the Aleene's Original Tacky Glue, my favorite. And it works very well. And I'm putting the face on 4 sides and then 1 on the top. I'm not putting 1 on the bottom because it won't sit flat if I put 1 on the bottom, y'all. So, and they are different faces, and they did come out differently. Even if it's the same face, it came out differently. And they all have their little flaws in them. But that's okay. I'm happy. I'm like, yeah, I like that. Makes me happy. And that's part of your job as an artist, is to make yourself happy. When you do stuff, make you happy first. Okay? Hang on. Pardon me, excuse me. So we're taking our wings out. And this time, instead of leaving them out in the studio to dry in the nice, humid, unconditioned air, I take it in the house, which makes them really dry too fast. Just saying. It's got to be a happy medium somewhere. I guess take them in the house and cover them with a damp towel or something. I don't know. So I'm buttering the back of this with matte medium because I don't think the glue, I'm sure the glue would hold it, but I don't know. I'm afraid the glue would have been too wet and slippery, even though it is thick. I chose to use gel. I don't know what I first said. We're using a gloss gel, and it's set on the corner pretty well, and I'm smooshing it around. I come back and I'll put, when I put the wings on later, after, because that needed to dry, because I want to make sure it dried where I wanted it. And when I put the wings on with the same gel, I smeared some more gel around the head just to, so that it wasn't just sticking out there, okay? Just to kind of like make it look sort of like it was supposed to be molded that way. So we have our wings on already. I didn't film that part. I got excited that it was dry enough to put the wings on. What can I say? So now I'm buttering the top of the block, and I'm adding just a little bit more gel down into the crevices there, because there again, I want it to look like it's all a solid piece. Okay. So there we are. We're going along, buttering it, smoothing it, roughing it. I'm like, come on, I'll get there. You've already saw the project, the end, so you know I get there. Now, I thought about filling in the gaps around those heads, and I thought, nope, I don't want to. And I want it at an angle so that there's a face looking out between the wing and the main face on either side, and then there's some on the back side, and then, of course, there's one looking up on the top. I really didn't know where I was going and how this was going to end up. I was just trying to make a block that made me happy. And then I got to straighten it, and I got this 10 seconds patina stuff, y'all. I've had it forever, and while I was straightening it up, I found it, and I gathered all my rusty stuff up and put it in one place. And I thought, well, let's patina this baby. And so I tried it out with different underpaintings on our initial messed up block. Okay, so it ended up with a purpose. And while I was straightening up the studio again, because, you know, I put stuff up when I'm done these days, I found this finial in a drawer, and I thought, well, that's my block is set perfectly on that. So I stuck some little gems down in the bottom, which y'all didn't see that part because it was just a spur of the moment kind of thing. And I have these little jars of little gem bits, and so I put some cornelian and I forgot the other one, amethyst or something, down in there just to add a little bit of weight. Just add a teeny tiny bit of weight to the finial. And I adhered that on the bottom with I don't remember if it was the glue or the gloss gel. And now we're doing our underpainting of gold. And after this part, we will have a photo montage. But it's not the end of the show, y'all. It's just a middle photo montage, photo segment in the middle. So you can see what it looks like all golded up, okay? Now, as this project progressed, so did its base. I really liked the finial, and it seemed to set fairly sturdy. And here's photo montage, just in the middle. And there we go. So you can see the face between the main head and the wing. Okay, and yes, I have something that's going on those two empty squares on the back. But you gotta wait for it. I said you have to wait for it. It's pretty snazzy looking just like this with their gold paint on there. So now it's time to patina it. And yeah. So the instructions for this patina stuff from 10 Second Studio is you paint on your color and you let that dry. I believe it says 4 hours. I probably let it dry overnight or longer because, and this project took a couple weeks. Okay, there's a whole lot of 2 or 3 day drying times in it. So you put your first layer on, and then you come back and you add a second layer after at least 4 hours. Okay, then you add a second layer of your patina paint. Then as that one, because that one is still damp, wet, you will spritz it with their activating magic solution stuff. So here we go with, I think this is the second coat. And I thought I was turning the, or is that still the first coat? I don't know. It may still be a portion I messed up. I didn't get the part where I put the second coat on and spritzed it. Okay? But look how lovely that is. Now the base didn't get as much spritz, so I'm going to redo that some. And also, this is the brass patina finish, and I also put over some iron patina finish, but I only did one coat of that because I didn't want to do the whole 2-coat thing again. And I'm like, well, it's already got some underneath it. It'll be fine. That's what I determined, it'd be fine. So we're putting on, this is actually more of the brass finish because, or maybe it's the iron. I don't know. It's been like 500 days since I filmed it. I don't know. I didn't make notes. There's the spritzing, the patina. I think that's the iron stuff. I don't know. I could say that 20 times more and everybody take a drink. So now we got to set it up so that it's not all just running off. And that is my little spray box that I use. Now, I thought, well, I've got these sticks, and will they fit around there? Yes. So I've already painted them up, and I've just put some of the patina stuff on there, and we spritzed it. Y'all seen me spritzing it. Y'all have seen the final photo, so you know how these end up looking. Oh, here's the iron bits, because I wanted just a little bit of rust patina on there, okay? So that's what we're doing. We're just in places, not everywhere, just in places. And it's hard to see where it's actually even going on, and that's okay, because that means it's actually just going on in bits and places. And then we spritz that. Okay, and now it's done. It's all nice and dry, and instructions say you're supposed to let it dry 48 hours because it can continue to patina after 48 hours. Just so you know what the instructions say. So it's all dried and all that good junk, and now I'm putting on some matte varnish, and this is a varnish, and it does say matte, which is why I'm showing you the bottle there. And I don't know if you can tell in the video, but it changes the finish on here. And it's like, oh my God, did I just screw this up? And it's like, well, if I did, I'll just have to start over. So there we go. Another month. So anyways, because I wanted it to be flat, because as things patina, they're flat, but they have some shimmer. It's weird. Well, y'all know how it is. So I'm putting it on, trying to make sure I'm getting it everywhere. And then I let this dry. This probably dried overnight as well. Or over at least a day, if not overnight. From morning to afternoonish. And now realize there are a lot of nooks and crannies on here. So yeah. Excuse me. So there we go. I thought I sped it up enough, but I guess not. So now that's dry. I've got a gloss varnish that I'm using just on my fingertip because I'm just putting it in a few places. Just a few places. Sorry for all the microphone covering and all that junk, but that's just how it goes when you gotta clear your throat because you got frogs in it. Makes me happy. Now here are my my poles. Once all that, and it's actually better to do those separately because I would not have been able to get around and get it in all the nooks and crannies around the round little poles because these poles, it's stick, it's pole. So gluing that on with my favorite glue right there on the front, straight up, mostly under the chin, mostly. And then and this was a longer stick that I cut down to size and sanded it and all that junk. So I was smearing off some of the excess glue because I don't like excess glue just sticking out looking like, well, it's glued, you know. So I want it to be semi-invisible. And it ended up being pretty good. So while I was doing all that, I found these round disc things. It's amazing what you keep finding when you move junk. And I thought, well, you know, I wonder if this looks like it'd be perfect size. I wonder if that's perfect size. It's perfect size, y'all. So I painted it gold and then I patinaed it also. But I can't glue it on because my sticks need to dry first. Okay? Don't worry, we've only got about an hour before we get to the end of the video, so y'all doing real good. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time. You're hanging in there. So now I've got printed off the Bible verse, y'all, and sized it all up as best as I could to fit on here, and it is on printed on copy paper. I thought about putting it on deli paper, but I thought, no, I don't want it to melt away that much. So I treated it with garden patina ink and coffee ink, archival inks, and hopefully I remember to put that in the description box below. I don't know. And we're using matte medium to adhere it to our block. And I coated the block, the back of the paper, and setting it on there and coating over the top and making sure I don't have any air bubbles. And I'm very pleased with the way it came out and adhered on there and bubble free. So, and it's standing up, and here's the little disc I told you I ended up finding, because it just seems somewhat unfinished. Doesn't it just seem unfinished? And then when we add that disc on there, it's just like perfect. Okay? And I'm showing you, look how cool that looks, y'all. Looks like a freaking piece of metal, doesn't it? And then you pick it up and it's like, whoa, this is light. It ain't heavy. It's not my brother. So now we're going to glue it onto our disc, and we're going to use our favorite glue again. We just put little dots there. Nice. I mean, it was just like serendipity. I love it when this stuff just comes together. So this is a birthday present for my husband, but don't tell him yet because it's not his birthday yet. Look at that. Get ready. The photo montage will be coming up any day now. Perfect. He's going to love it. He's not seen it. I didn't show it to him. Love it. Photo montage. Actual end of the video, photo montage. I appreciate each and every one of you. Your kind comments, your likes, your shares, your subscriptions. Look at that patina, y'all. Just love it. It's so cool. Comes out pretty cool in pictures and video, but it is way cool in real life. Just saying. And I signed the bottom of it and all that good junk. So, if you've not subscribed, go ahead and take a moment to do so. Click the bell if you want notifications of new videos and live shows, which are typically on the third Thursday of the month. If you have your account set up for notifications, it's all kind of iffy, y'all. I do appreciate each and every one of you. I'm so glad you stuck it out to the photo montage. Thanks for watching, and happy arting, y'all.